In tonight's news, His Majesty the King is briefed on plans for the second phase of the Abdali project. The Foreign Minister begins a visit to Bahrain to take part in the preparatory Foreign Ministers meeting for the Arab League summit. And Israeli tanks push further into Jabalia in the northern Gaza Strip and cross a key highway on the outskirts of Rafah in the south. Good evening and welcome. His Majesty King Abdullah has been briefed on plans for the second phase of the Abdali project, which is expected to provide 3,000 job opportunities annually. During a meeting with the chairman and members of the board of directors of Abdali Investment and Development, King Abdullah noted the importance of the project's contribution to achieving the economic modernization vision, which aims to develop the national economy, attract investments and provide job opportunities. Foreign Minister Ayman al-Safadi is in Bahrain to take part in the preparatory Foreign Ministers meeting for the Arab League summit. Ahead of the preparatory meeting, Safadi met with Bahrain's Foreign Minister Abdul Latif bin Rashid al-Zayani. The meeting focused on the agenda of the Foreign Ministers meeting, mainly efforts to achieve a ceasefire in Gaza, protect civilians and ensure the delivery of sufficient and sustainable aid to all parts of the Strip. Earlier in Manama, Safadi met with his Moroccan counterpart Nasser Bourita within the context of ongoing Arab consultations and coordination on developments in the coastal enclave. The two ministers warned of any attack on Rafah and stressed the need for the international community to move effectively to halt it. The foreign minister also held a separate meeting in Manama with his Algerian counterpart Ahmed Attaf. The two ministers stressed the need to launch immediate and effective international action to stop Israel's aggression against Gaza and deliver humanitarian aid to the besieged enclave. And over to the Gaza Strip, where Israeli tanks have pushed further into Jabalia refugee camp in the north of the enclave. Residents and Hamas-run media said airstrikes had destroyed clusters of houses, killing and wounding several Palestinians overnight. In Rafah, Israel stepped up aerial and ground bombardments on the eastern parts of the city, killing a number of Palestinians in an airstrike on a house. Meanwhile, the health ministry in Gaza said the health system is only hours away from collapse as fighting has blocked fuel shipments through key crossings. The ministry said the death toll in Israeli ongoing offensive on Gaza has now surpassed 35,000 Palestinians since October last year. And in a related development, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken reaffirmed Washington's position against a major operation on Rafah. During a phone call with Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant, Blinken also called for expanding entry points for humanitarian aid into Gaza. The call came shortly after Blinken told U.S. media that Israel still lacked a credible plan to protect civilians in Rafah. The U.S. Secretary of State had previously said the Biden administration cannot support a major Israeli military operation without such a plan. And in the occupied West Bank, Palestinian news agency Wafa said Israeli forces carried out nighttime raids on a number of towns and villages. The news agency reported that a large Israeli convoy, including a bulldozer, raided the town of Azzoun east of Qalqilia and arrested dozens of young Palestinians. The agency added that another young Palestinian man was also arrested during an Israeli raid on Deir Samet west of Hebron. Elsewhere, Israeli soldiers fired tear gas during confrontations with Palestinians after raiding the village of Tel, southwest of Nablus. Thank you so much for your time.